Okay, so we're still a couple of months away from the NHL trade deadline, and one of the biggest names on the block right now, believe it or not, for the Montreal Canadiens is defenseman Ben Chiarot. Now, supposedly, there's quite a few teams that are thinking about, kicking the tires on old Chiarot. And in this video, we're going to take a look at 5 places where he could potentially land, and what to expect as a return from some of these teams. But first up, we're going to take a look at the who, what, when, where, why of Ben Chiarot himself and see what this guy has to offer. So, Big Ben! Benny Hinn, Uncle Ben Chiarot is a 30-year-old defenseman coming in here at 6'3", 234 pounds of pure concrete. Okay, this guy's built like a brick shithouse. And despite the Canadiens' terrible season, Chiarot has been somewhat of a bright spot. He's already got 5 goals in 31 games. He continues to be reliable at his own end of the rink. And every once in a while, when you least expect it, Ben Chiarot he decides to become a power forward and he drives the net. It scares the shit out of everybody on the ice. It scares the shit out of the viewers. But every once in a while, it works. And I know that there's a lot of people that are probably wondering why Ben Chiarot is going to be such a big target during the next couple of months. And my answer to that is he's a beast, okay? That's why. He may have been one of the easiest whipping boys for Montreal fans since he's been here, but the truth is, Ben Chiarot is a steady, reliable defenseman that can play big minutes in big games. He's good at shutting down top lines. He's great on the penalty kill. He's mean. He treats everybody like they just kicked his dog. He's kind of like John Wick. He wins puck battles. He blocks shots. And during the playoffs, when the refs put away their whistles, this is exactly where Ben Chiarot's value doubles or maybe even triples. He was a big factor in Montreal's playoff run last year. I don't think there's many that are going to dispute that. And he's probably going to be a big factor in this year's playoffs for whatever team wins these Ben Chiarot sweepstakes. So now that we're done praising Ben Chiarot, let's get right down to business here and take a look at some of these front-runner teams and what they've got to offer. Coming in at number 5 here on the list, we got the Colorado Avalanche. The Avalanche are currently sitting at 3rd place in the Central Division, and they can definitely use a big bruising defenseman like Ben Chiarot. They've got the talent up front, they've got some puck-moving defensemen like Cale Makar and Samuel Girard already, but what they don't have is a Ben Chiarot. Someone to chew up the big minutes in the playoffs, play responsible on their own end, and possibly rip someone's head off. Now, as a potential return from Colorado, they actually don't have a first-round draft pick at this year's draft, so that kind of sucks. But the article that we're taking a look at here suggests that maybe Joe Sakic could possibly offer up a prospect such as defenseman Justin Barron, which ain't too shabby. Barron was picked in the 1st round, 25th overall by the Avalanche back in 2020, and at 20 years old, this guy would really beef up the Canadiens' prospect pool. Moving on to number 4 on the list, we're going to take a look at the throw your jersey on the ice Edmonton Oilers. We all know Edmonton's story, okay? Nobody is happy over there. They've got McDavid, they've got Draisaitl, and they still haven't been able to win shit in the postseason. They're currently sitting at 4th in the Pacific Division, uncomfortably might I add. The fans are getting restless, they want to win now, but yet the Oilers just continue to fall apart right before our very eyes. It's like the same movie every year. And if they're looking for a change, maybe old Ben Chiarot is the guy that comes in and takes some of the workload off of everybody else. He defends the net. Maybe Darnell Nurse doesn't have as much responsibility all of a sudden. And this article suggests that old GM Kenny Holland of the Edmonton Oilers may just be willing to part ways with their 1st-round draft pick of this year's draft. Because he's crazy, okay? That's what he does. It's the Oilers. It's like taking candy from kids. Or we got another option. Maybe Holland dangles out a prospect like Dylan Holloway. As you can see here, this guy's a left winger, picked 14th overall at the 2020 draft. He's got some nice stats to boot. Or Another prospect that could be on the table is Quebec's very own Xavier Bourgault, who's got quite an impressive resume as well. He was picked 22nd overall in the most recent 2021 draft. He plays in the Q for the Shawinigan Cataracts. I don't know. That team sounds pretty painful. Anyway, he's been lighting it up this year with 42 points in 24 games, so not too shabby at all. I don't know about you guys, but the thoughts of fleecing the Oilers out of some of these prospects and some picks, just, you know what, it excites me, okay? It really does. Next up on the list, coming in at number 3, we got the Florida Panthers. And believe me, there's been a lot of chatter linking Florida to Ben Chiarot recently. In fact, Pierre Lebrun, lots of fun, seems to think that the Panthers are actually going to attempt to acquire Ben Chiarot from Montreal before the March 21st trade deadline. You know what I'm saying? They're going to try and sneak in here and pull a fast one on everybody else. Win the sweepstakes early. The Panthers are currently sitting at second in the Atlantic Division, 30 points ahead of the Canadiens with a game in hand. God, did I really have to say that? And one thing for sure that they know how to do is score some goals. They're a talented team, and adding Ben Chiarot to the mix just puts them that much farther ahead of everybody else in the race. As for a return from Florida, they already traded away their first-round draft pick this year as well to the Buffalo Sabres, which means that A, Florida may have to offer up their 2023 first-round draft pick and go all in, or B, Florida may have to cough up one or more of their prospects. Are they willing to part ways with their first-round draft pick, Mackie Samoskevich? Huh? Would that even be enough? I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Is it just me, or does this guy's last name not look like sandwich but in another language, huh? Maybe he's got a brother named Ham. Anyway, definitely not feeling it. But moving on to number 2, we got the New York Rangers, who are somehow sitting at number 1 in the Metro Division. And yeah, it's a bit of a shock. They've done a successful rebuild. A lot of that is thanks to a special big man that we now know, Jeff Gordon. And things are looking up for these guys right now. And if they keep trucking along like they have been, they're going to be set to battle it out in the playoffs this year. Meaning that Ben Chiarot could be just what the doctor ordered. Now there is a question, which is, would Jeff Gordon consider helping out his prior team? But hey, if the price is right from any team, it's going to happen. It's a business. As for what the Rangers could possibly offer up, their first round pick comes to mind like it normally does. They could also offer up the rights to Kravtsov, who's been waiting for a trade while he's been playing in Russia this year. This guy was picked 9th overall by the Rangers in 2018, and he's been quite an interesting specimen for this team to say the least. But anyway, enough about Princess Kravtsov. It's time to take a look at number 1 on the list of potential trade destinations for Ben Chiarot, and coming in hot are the Washington Capitals. The Caps are currently sitting at 2nd in the Metro Division. They've got Ovechkin going completely beast mode. They want to win another cup, so they're definitely going to be looking to boost their lineup before the trade deadline. As for a potential return from the Caps, they've still got their first round pick for this year's draft, so that could definitely be a pitch from them. Or maybe they offer up a second round pick and a prospect or two, like Connor McMichael or Hendrix Lapierre. But then again, would Gordon even be interested in these guys? I don't know. But it's hashtag Gordy's plan right now. In Gordy, we trust. Anyway, guys, there you have it. There's 5 potential landing spots for Ben Chiarot this year. Let me know which destination you guys think is most likely to happen, and what kind of return you're expecting for Uncle Ben. This has been a long ass video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And hey, I'll see you next time.